between a signal versus the actual communication. So the signal is any behavior that causes a change in the behavior of another animal. Okay? So the signal is just what got your attention. The signal is when we're going to talk about fruit fly mating. When one fruit fly is trying to mate with another fruit fly, the signal is when it comes over basically and taps them and says, hey, I'm here. Okay? Or it could be a chemical signal, the pheromones that's released. Okay? The communication part is the actual transmission of, reception of, and the response to the signal. How was the signal sent? How was the signal received by the other organism? And then what did they do to respond to it? That's the communication part. Okay, so let's look at fruit fly mating, and then we'll be all set. Okay, your AP stuff loves fruit flies, and everything we do with fruit flies are going to be virtual, and we will just talk about them. We are not doing anything with fruit flies, mainly because they never go away. Okay, so we're going to look at this from the steps of a fruit fly mating. So fruit fly mating is a 3-step process. Okay, it is a form of courtship. Okay, courtship is any behavior that consists of patterns that will lead to copulation. And your courtship is going to, as a general rule, it's going to contain displays, movements by the male or the female. Okay? And the reason for this courtship, you have this behavior where maybe you've seen or heard of them where they put on a dance or they put on a show, okay? And it's done so that they can maximize, the partners that they have, whether it's quality or quantity, okay? But they're a way to let the other gender, whoever's performing the courtship ritual, they're a way to let the other gender know that they are a strong, healthy, good specimen for mating with. So with fruit flies, they first go through the process of orienting. Okay? And when they orient with one another, the male is going to ID the female, okay, and orient towards her, basically turn towards her. You can see that happening here. Okay? So the orientation can be that can be a chemical signal, and the male receives that. The communication is, so the female releases the chemicals in the air. That's the signal. The male's communication portion of that would be his response to that, his physically turning and orienting towards the female. It could also just be a visual communication, a visual signal. Okay, visually he sees the female. That's the signal, seeing the female, and now his reception and processing that that's a female, and then orienting actually towards her. Okay, the next step in the courtship ritual is it's called tapping. Okay, and tapping is basically just the male letting the female know he's there. You can see he reaches out there and he taps her. Okay, so that could be a tactile signal, okay, of him actually reaching up and touching her. Okay, it could also be another chemical form of a signal where he chemically confirms that she is a female. Okay, and then the male will sing to her. And you can see he's vibrating his wing there. Okay, so he does the courtship song that lets the female know that he's a male fruit fly. This is an auditory signal. Okay, the communication would be the female receiving that, processing the song, recognizing it as one for fruit flies. And they have to go through all 3 of these communication steps before copulation can occur, before they will actually reproduce. But if all 3 of these signals and communication steps are understood, then they will be able to breed with one another. So signals and communication are very important for animals to be able to actually do these behaviors. So we'll be working with this vocabulary a lot in next class. We're going to take a little bit of break from some of the math.